Hey, welcome to a live broadcast from the Wedding Film Academy. If you're into wedding films, if you're into event filmmaking, then you will probably be really interested in this podcast that we're doing. I'm one of Panasonic's sponsored photographers and videographers, but I run a podcast called the Wedding Film Academy on iTunes. Make sure and check it out if you're interested in wedding filmmaking or event filmmaking. But today I'm going to unbox some things and show you some things. Of course, I do have the GH5 with me, but I want to show you a couple of accessories. I'm going to open up for the first time one of these accessories, but a couple other accessories that I've been using for extensively since I got the GH5. Let's do the unboxing first. What do you think? I think that makes sense. Alright, I did cut the box open beforehand, but I haven't pulled it out yet. So here's the accessory. The first one. Again, I have three. I said in the deal there that in the description that one of these you haven't seen. You may have probably seen this one. So I'll say the one you haven't seen for last. This is the GH5 battery grip. So I'm super excited about this. This literally came in the mail like less than half an hour ago. So thank you, Panasonic. Okay, here it is. Probably makes sense to go ahead and just put it on before I start testing it. There's a little tape on there. I guess this thing covers the connections. I can get that off. There we go. Okay, so I'll have to pull this little rubber gasket off. It's nice. It has like a little storage spot on the grip, so I can tuck that away right there for safekeeping. It's important to do that kind of stuff to keep those things for like if you're not going to use a grip, and that'll help keep it weather sealed for you. So anyways, let me strap this thing on there. Do I have a battery in there yet? Let me make sure I have one in there. Yeah, okay. I'll put one in there and then I'll put one in the grip here in a second. So there's the battery grip. And has a little door here. You can put your batteries in. Cool. Wow. That feels nice. This feels way more substantial. Alright, let's try to take an image here. Okay, so it has a switch. You have to switch the battery grip on as well. And then there's a little icon that comes up on the back of the screen. Let me see if I can change the focus here, or the exposure. So it says battery grip on there now. And yeah, there's the dials. So the dials work. They feel a little bit different than the dials on the camera itself. They're good. I don't know, they're just different. There's something a little bit different about them. Okay, I like this. So one of the things I like about the GH5 is the way they laid out the controls, right? Where the the exposure compensation dial, change my exposure again. Sorry, I'm shooting this on the iPhone. Is flat, and then they have the two little bumps on the ISO, and then it's raised up for the white balance. So they did the same thing on the battery grip. So you can tell just by the feel of them, like the big one. Okay, that's white balance. 2 dots for ISO, and then flat for exposure comp. So that's really nice. And then it's got another function button here. Yeah, looks like it works like it should. It's also got your AFAE lock, and then your joystick here. So that's really nice. They give you the joystick on the grip as well. It looks, I mean, it's made by Panasonic, so everything matches. The texture and everything feels the same. The only thing that feels different is the dials. They don't feel crazy different, but it definitely feels different. I didn't expect that. But everything else feels the same. It's, well, okay, so this feels a little bit different too, just like texture wise, maybe. Like the top of this sounds a little bit different too, so it's different material, I'm not sure what, but anyways, that's the first accessory. This is the second accessory, another one that you have seen, probably, the XLR1 unit. So this is cool. As soon as you slide this all the way in, and that light comes on, so you know it's being powered. But man, I love this thing. I'm using it a lot. Mostly just the one. I'm not using two very often, but it's really nice if I want to plug in a nice XLR shotgun like the Sennheiser E835 that I have that goes on top of the camera. Also, a lot of times will hold it with a longer XLR cable on a boom pole, or just hold it out, you know, so I can get it closer to my subject. Or I have the Sony wireless mic system, the lav mics, and the receiver will go into this cold shoe on top and give me excellent sound and the ability to adjust on the fly even while this door's down by spinning this little dial here. So that's a really awesome feature. But you guys are familiar with that likely. I've done another video on this before, actually, on this page, and others have as well. Here's one you haven't seen, and this one is not by Panasonic. This is by a company called Lightpix Labs. So I have really grown fond of this little accessory. I'll show you what it is. It's basically a tiny, it's a weird thing, but it works really well. It's this tiny little flash, and this is the remote trigger for it. This tiny little thing, believe it or not. And not only does it trigger it remotely, but you can actually adjust the power of it remotely, which is pretty awesome, considering it's such a tiny deal. So you actually, let me power them on first. You just press and hold this little button here, and there it goes, and it blinks for you, and you know it's on. You have to do the same thing on these. So do that real quick, and then just flip it on here. So you can either use this as an on-camera flash, or I haven't even done that yet. I've actually only used it off camera because this is the amazing feature of it. This tiny little thing is the remote. So thank you, by the way, if you're watching, Lightpix Labs, for sending this to me. Very kind. Because I really like this little thing. You guys go pick one. I can't remember what they cost. They're pretty cheap. Again, they sent one to me, so full disclosure, this was a freebie, but I'm pretty sure they retail for under $100. I think it's even cheap. I think it's like 60 or something. I could be wrong. So sorry if I am. But at this point now, you have a tiny, this is, look, there's the palm of my hand. I'm not a big guy. It's the size of the palm of my hand. And it's a pretty powerful little flash. Not only that, but it has a, you can adjust this up and down, which is pretty cool. The reason I like that is because what I like to do is like throw this like I'll put this on a table or something, and then just kind of prop it where I want it to and adjust that so I can bounce it to where I want it. Like I was taking pictures of my daughter the other day, and I had it like at that angle, and I threw it up on the table, bounced it up against the wall, and so I had this massive light source by bouncing it up against the wall. I had this massive, beautiful light, and only this little tiny thing on top of the camera, which makes it so mobile. The other cool thing though, like I was saying, watch, I'm actually from the camera, so sorry, I'm having trouble. If you can see that, I'm pressing the button over here on the camera, and it's adjusting the power. So pretty awesome. Yeah, so, and it comes with a tiny little bag, which, oh, I actually have it. Let me grab it. Yeah, so it comes with this nice little bag here. So, by the way, this weighs nothing. I mean, I don't know what that means. It weighs like, probably weighs about an iPhone, a phone. You know, the most weight in here is the batteries. It probably weighs about like your cell phone does. But it comes in this nice little pouch. And you can actually fit that in there as well, but you probably should just leave that on the camera. And then this goes in your bag. So the light's on, obviously. But yeah, you throw it down in your bag. Oops. There it goes. But it takes up no room at all in any of your bags. So yeah, highly recommend that. That's they call it, I told you the name of the brand, I forgot to tell you the name of the product. It's called Lightpix Labs, and it's the Flash Q. You can see that, hopefully. Yeah, any questions about any of this? I've been using this quite a bit, so I can tell you anything you want to know probably about this, as well as the XLR1 and the battery grip. I mean, pretty straightforward. I haven't tested it a lot, but I could probably tell you most of what you want to know about that, I imagine. So post anything if you want to know more about that. But yeah, this thing is pretty legit. It feels really nice. I feel like the GH5 was, you know, it's obviously a much bigger camera than the GH4 is. Which I actually, I switched to Micro Four Thirds because I wanted a smaller camera, but I've actually really appreciated the size of the GH5. It just feels really nice in my hands. But the main thing about the Micro Four Thirds system is not the cameras being small, it's the lenses being small, you know. This is equivalent to a 50-1.4, and it's a tiny little lens. So, you know, even if your body is growing a little bit, you still keep a really nice small footprint on your lenses, and it gives you the ability to pack a ton of lenses with you. But this is definitely a much bigger camera at this point with the battery grip on it. But really nice for portrait shooting, and you know, so you can switch it to portrait mode and still have all your dials without kind of doing this awkward thing, you know. So I'm definitely gonna really be using this a lot, particularly in portrait shoots. But you know, I will probably use it a lot for video shooting too, just because the battery life, you know, I'm shooting weddings and events all the time, and so having the extra battery life that'll come with, you know, utilizing the battery grip is going to be a huge deal. So, alright, well, it looks like you guys don't have any questions for me. Again, if you want to know more about Lumix cameras, if you want to know more about wedding photography and video and event video, make sure and check out my podcast. It's Wedding Film Academy. You can see it on iTunes. You can also check it out on our website at weddingfilmacademy.org. But I'm also happy and eager to answer any of your Lumix questions. Again, if you don't know me, I'm Jordan Bunch. I'm one of their associate luminaries and would love to help you out with any questions that you got. All right, I'm signing out. Thanks.